currently we're in LNAV mode, which is, in other words, following the magenta line. So currently we see that we're in a hold. So all of a sudden doesn't look like there's 500 buttons up ahead and next to you.
Where would you adjust the flag? Sorry.
That just is over. Oh, battery load. Over here. Yeah.
Grand.
So the autopilot is now, instead of following heading mode, it's following that magenta line, keeping us in the circle. So we would have our whole route planned out in here, where we would then put that all into our FMC, and following LNAV mode, it would just follow a route like a sat nav.
Which landing? This being the landing gear.
Yeah.
So the pilot would have to reach to the first officer side.
Yeah.
Depends who's flying. So pilot
Monitoring.
usually, pilot monitoring would dump the gear at either typically, usually around about 5 miles. Some airline SOPs do it differently. So some airlines will drop the gear just above, or just as they're about to intercept the ILS glide slope. So just as they're making that final descent onto the runway, because it just increases the drag and lets the aeroplane descend a bit more easily. Some airlines keep the aeroplane in as clean of a configuration, so that's basically low to no flap settings, and the landing gear up until about 5 miles left to run. So the last couple of minutes of the flight is when the landing gear would come down.
Any other questions?
What do each of the screens mean?
Well, these two are pretty much the same, although they do run off the same instruments but copied. So it's for redundancy. So you'll have two different airspeed indicators, 2 altitude meters. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have 2 completely isolated set of avionics, one for the captain, one for the first officer. So if there is, say, a blockage on the captain's pitot tubes, then the first officer, can compare that. In fact, some aircraft, the later version of the 737NG, would also tell you that there's an issue with whose side of the avionics. And if that is the case, there's a few little snazzy things you can do on the 73. So say, for example, the captain's side airspeed indicator is blocked and it's giving them rubbish. What the captain can do is he can come down here and he can get them both on 2. So you can't quite tell because they're both showing the same thing, but they're actually both copying the left side. And vice versa, we can use a switch here, we'll put them both on that. That means you lose a few capabilities, so you can't auto-land, you can't enter what we call RVSN airspace, so that's higher altitude airspace where aircraft can fly closer to each other, because you need to have 2 separate altimeters, 2 separate ASIs or speed indicators, and 2 separate autopilots, because each autopilot system is also completely isolated. So at the moment is on Command A, which is taking telemetry from the captain's instruments. Meanwhile on Command B, you'll take the telemetry from the first officer's instruments.
So if this is autopilot and this is like the main information, so what would in general this section?
There's all kinds of different subsystems, but the important ones have got these white little backgrounds to them. So these are the switches where if they're not in the right position, you're going to have a bad day. You've got the fuel panel down there, so you've got the fuel pumps, we've got 6 different fuel pumps, we've got 3 different fuel tanks, we've got cross feeds there, so we can take fuel from one tank to the other. We then have the electrical panel here, we've got the hydraulic panel here, basically the power steering, and then we have the life support, basically the air conditioning and pack panel. So this is, in my opinion, the most important one, because if it's not set up correctly, you're going to doze off as you get to about 18,000 feet. But because of that, they're actually designed in such a way that even if the switch is in the wrong position, it'll tell you. So if I take that off, in theory, we should get an air conditioning fault in just a moment. Or not. But we'll definitely get one if we do the hydraulic. So we turn electric hydraulic on, it's already telling you that there's something wrong, and that the switch is in the wrong position. So we do that, it will sort itself out.
Alright, maybe time to get next to it. Let's see if we lift the lever